I'm going to be talking about its free education, and a little background about it is, if you guys were aware, for the previous election, it was one of the main topics that they had, whether we should have free education or we shouldn't, free college education to be precise. My major claim is that free education has a positive effect on students. So in the previous election, sorry. So one of my supporting claims is that if we have free education, more students will be able to get college education. Therefore, lower income students can get an education, not only people that have higher class and are money, than that have money. So Hillary Clinton talked about how if we have free education, it would guarantee the children of any family in this country with an annual income of $125,000 a year or less, which is 83% of our population. That means that over half the population will be having a higher education and would be able to be in a public school without having the fear to take out loans, which is one of my secondary claims, that free college education will decrease the amount of student debt. So not only will it help them get a college education, but it will lower the dropout rates, and students will acquire the necessary skills to get a career. So free tuition is a simple promise that some researchers like Sarah Goldrick-Rapp at Temple University believe will motivate more working class students to dream of college and actually make it through. Many students don't finish their college education because either they can't afford it, they can't take out more loans, and that kind of, for personally, it just unmotivates us from wanting to come here, because we don't know if we're gonna make it after we're guaranteed a job that we're studying for. And that always gives us a fear, because if I'm taking out so many loans, am I gonna be able to pay them off at the end? Like, what's the outcome after that? So if we get free college education, students are acquiring the skills needed to get a career. Therefore, more students would be able to get jobs as electrician, welders, plumbers, mechanics, business people, engineers, teachers. We'd have more of that. And Bernie Sanders did say that we desperately need highly trained and highly skilled electricians, welders, plumbers, mechanics, pipe fitters, and healthcare workers of every kind. Each and every American must be able to get the education they need to match their skills and fulfill their dreams. So with that being said, if education is available for everyone, then more people would go out and gain the education they need for a job they're passionate about, not a job they can afford or the only job they could get. Free college education will decrease the amount of student debt. So a student will be affected by the rising costs of higher education in the U.S. Almost 70% of U.S. college students borrow to finance their degree, amounting to an average debt burden of $28,950 for 4-year graduates. That's according to the Institute for College Access and Success. So like I had said, 70% is a pretty high amount of students. And if they're taking out that much loans for 4 years, are we guaranteed to get a job after that? So if we make college education free, then, sorry, I'm nervous. So if we make it available for everyone, we won't have the need to take out loans. So as we graduate, what we'd have to focus on would be getting a job that we love and not getting a job so that we could start paying off those loans. Lower class students will not be forced to rely on students' loans. And from the beginning, every student from a family making $85,000 a year or less will be able to go to an in-state 4-year public college or university without paying tuition. So in that case, Sanders introduced the College for All Act, which covers 86% of the population. So tuition for free families that earn $125,000 per year or less. So overall, a free college education will help many students access the education that they deserve.
Okay, the proposition's clear, but the supporting structure is not. There's not really a preview laid out, and in the body of the speech, there's no signposting of where you are at any given point. It feels a little bit like you're jumping around from point to point. Some of the ideas that you have are policy propositions that you are talking about. If we did this, and that's not necessarily an inappropriate thing to do, but there are, of course, let's see what the estimated results are going to be of doing that. And I didn't hear any data that talked about what the outcome would be. That we don't have any comparative data about places that do this sort of thing, what the cost issue is in relationship to what's going on. You assume that there wouldn't be student loans. I'm not exactly sure that that's the case. In fact, that's when I've had this debated in the past, there's a substantial argument about how you end up using student loans. You just use them for different things rather than paying for the tuition. The information that you have on jobs is, I mean, the Bernie Sanders quote, for instance, talks about how we need all these jobs, and where are you? There are all these jobs that are listed that don't require college education. I mean, electrician, welder, mechanic, plumber. I don't know that anybody needs to go to a four-year state school to get those kinds of jobs. That seemed to be a little bit strange. Yeah, you go to trade school for those sorts of things, or you get an apprenticeship or something. It just seems like if those are the jobs that we're looking for people for, I don't know why we need to send people to college. You talk about, getting a job that you love, and my question is, why is that important? How is that going to benefit anybody? If you get a job that is productive, if you get a job that pays your bills, why do we need a job that you love? You need to tell us that motivation is that's the kind of thing that's going to create innovation, or it's going to expand the economy, or it's going to make things better. Otherwise, it's just like, well, give me free stuff because I'll feel better about it, and I'd like that too, but that doesn't make it a good thing. You got to tell us what it is that is the advantage from doing that, and I don't think that you do enough of that there. All right. Well, I think you probably know. You look a little uncomfortable when you're speaking, and
Yeah.
you got to work on your anxiety issues. You'll get better at this. And the more practice you have, that's always true with anything. I always tell people, anytime you learn a new skill, it's awkward at first, but you get better at it. Do you remember the first time you drove a car? Yeah, same sort of thing. It's like, holy crap, doing all those weird things. But now, you're pretty smooth about it. Same sort of thing here. Okay, thank you.